Right at the top of the hour, News Tonight once again is here to bring you what's making headlines. First though, let's look at the top stories. Well, as we delve straight into the bulletin, President Yoweri Museveni has said that the National Resistance Movement Caucus will make the final decision on whether Anita Among will contest for the position of Speaker of Parliament and Thomas Taiyewa for Deputy Speaker. The President's clarification follows a declaration by Aringa South Member of Parliament Alione Oke Odrie, who expressed interest in contesting for the speakership during a meeting held in Chankwanzi on Wednesday.
I also want to tell Ugandans and my colleagues here,
thank you. 2 minutes.
I am one of the 4 candidates contesting for speakership, flag bearership under the NRM. And we are calling for rule of law, equity in the activities of SEC. I beg to submit.
Thank you, my brother.
And at the right time,
Next.
I request for an appointment as usual.
2 minutes.
Odia also is standing for speaker. That one we shall discuss at the right time, because SEC had recommended that we maintain the two. Because it had become like a tradition. But this was now, stop it, Nani. This was our recommendation. It is not us who decide. We recommend, and then we can reason why. So, when the time comes, we shall be able to discuss it and explain why. But we are not the ones who elect. We recommend. And we support our recommendation with the reasons.
Now, President Yoweri Museveni has called for a strategic approach to address challenges facing the Nile Basin. Now, while delivering a lecture of opportunity to a delegation from the Egyptian Armed Forces Staff and Command College at National Leadership Institute in Chankwanzi, President Museveni noted that discussions on the Nile have long focused on colonial-era agreements instead of the real issues affecting the river. Transformation and shared prosperity. The delegation was led by Egypt's ambassador to Uganda, Monzo Salim, the Major General Khalid, and then speaking on behalf of the delegation. Now, Major General Khalid commended Uganda for its hospitality and the insights shared during their visit. Now looking at the protection bill, pressure is mounting over the Processed Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026, with civil society groups, religious leaders and a section of Ugandans calling for its immediate withdrawal. Critics argue that the bill threatens constitutional rights, economic stability and the role of the diaspora, but government insists the legislation is necessary to safeguard the nation.
A broad coalition of citizens, civil society organizations and faith-based institutions is piling pressure on government, demanding the immediate withdrawal of the bill. They warn that some provisions threaten constitutional freedoms, particularly the right to privacy. The group point to Clause 28 under Article 27, which allows warrantless inspections, saying it could open the door to abuse of power and unlawful surveillance.
I'm calling upon every Ugandan, instead of condemning Museveni, instead of condemning his people, just forget all of those, and for you kneel down before God on your knees and let us repent the sins they have committed and then ask God to forgive us.
While the bill seeks to limit foreign influence, critics say government continues to enter major international agreements, including a reported $2.4 billion health deal that could allow the transfer of sensitive data without adequate transparency. There are also growing concerns about the diaspora, with stakeholders warning that proposed amendments could reclassify some Ugandans abroad as foreigners, potentially stripping them of citizenship rights guaranteed under the 1995 Constitution.
I'm going for masters. If I'm going for my PhD because my university doesn't have a robotics course, I am now branded as a foreigner. This policy is bad because it shows me that I do not belong in the country I was born, and I do not belong here as a child of the soil. And it is because that this policy is so oppressive that even when I want to come back, know more about where I come from.
On the economic front, opponents warn that disrupting remittances, which support businesses, farming and jobs, could harm livelihoods, while religious leaders say proposed changes could also undermine faith-based institutions. The coalition is now urging Parliament to withdraw the bill and instead engage stakeholders in a more inclusive process. Government says the bill is meant to safeguard Uganda's sovereignty and guard against undue foreign interference. Efforts to obtain an official comment were unsuccessful. Mutonyi Hilda, UBC.
Well, thank you very much there, Hilda. Now, civil society organizations are urging the government to take over the food and nutrition bill, hoping to finally push it into law and tackle Uganda's worrying malnutrition rates. The bill has been stuck since the early 2000s, with advocates saying government support is key to its passage when the 12th Parliament begins. Now, this was echoed at the second National Nutrition Dialogue that was held under the theme Strengthening Financing for Resilient and Inclusive Nutrition in the Country.
The Food and Nutrition Bill was first introduced in Parliament in 2003 with the aim of addressing food insecurity and malnutrition in Uganda. However, despite presenting low-hanging fruits in the promotion of nutrition campaign, the bill remains a corridor talk every parliamentary tenure.
What was delaying was who hosts the bill. There was a struggle. Is it Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Water, Prime Ministers? So everybody was, who owns it? You are seeing the ping-pong.
Napore West County Member of Parliament Philip Lukwang says with barely a month to the end of the tenure of the 11th Parliament, there is nothing much the August House can do.
We pushed and we are still pushing. But the law says that when the next term, like now, the 12th parliament is coming in play, it means that all this collapse. If it is not done up to this moment, it is all what? All the bills are what? Collapsed.
It is against this glaring fact that civil society organizations now prefer that government takes over the bill.
This might mean starting from scratch. However, the advantage we have is the civil society, the media actors, the development partners, all of them are already on board. The work we need to do on the back end, most of it has already been done. Now it's just getting the legislators on board, which is going to take a lot of effort, but I think we are in a better place than we were before.
This came to light as stakeholders convened for the second National Nutrition Dialogue that sought to strengthen financing for nutrition in Uganda.
Sustainable progress will require increased domestic resource mobilization and allocation, better integration of nutrition into sectoral budgets, and innovative financing approaches including fiscal policies and blended financing.
We can no longer do business as usual. It has to be business unusual. We must explore new ways of working, adapting, and building resilience. Times are gone when we had abundance of money from donors, where they were looking whom are we going to give money to implement projects. Especially for us who work in the civil society organizations, 2025 was a roller coaster because of what we went through. Many NGOs, many organizations shut down. And what does that mean? It means those organizations, many of them who are focusing on health and nutrition, they are no longer doing the same. And therefore, just a few players have been left in the industry addressing the issues that we are having dialogue over today.
The Commissioner in the Department of Economic Development, Policy and Research at the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Joseph Enyum, gave a keynote address highlighting how government, through the PDM, is prioritizing increased production of animal proteins at household level to boost nutrition.
Key commodities being financed there include dairy products, beef, poultry, and fish. Grant financing of households in the subsistence economy to participate in the front line of the value chains for animal proteins represent one of the best ways for attaining all three aspects of food security: availability, affordability, and adequacy.
Whereas Uganda remains a regional giant when it comes to food production, out of the 50 million Ugandans, close to 11 million people are said to be facing hunger, a leading cause of malnutrition and stunted growth, especially in kids.
And it is immoral that we sit in a country of plenty of knowledge, plenty of expertise, plenty of solutions, plenty of food, and we are talking about malnutrition. Then we are speaking about injustices, inequality, and immorality.
In Uganda, about 29% of kids under 5 are stunted due to chronic malnutrition. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
Thank you very much there, Dorcas. Now, Uganda has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening economic cooperation with Denmark at a high-level meeting held at State House. Investors Protection Unit officers and officials emphasized Uganda's readiness to attract Danish investment, particularly in key sectors such as renewable energy, agro-processing and manufacturing.
Researchers at Mbarara Zonal Agricultural Research and Development Institute are testing Jiangsu big ear goats, a hybrid of Chinese Jan breed and the Anglo-Nubian, to address the low productivity of indigenous goats. So far, 9 goats have been imported, with 6 currently under study at the National Agricultural Research Organization facility in Mbarara. Early results are promising. Since their arrival in October 2025, the goats have produced 7 kids and are demonstrating strong adaptability to local conditions.
So we are happy that these goats are adapting quite well. and stabilizing quite well, but we are continuing to collect data so that by the time we have stabilized this animal and ready to disseminate this breed into the communities, we shall have concrete information. In the future, we plan on top of stabilizing and making sure that this breed multiplies, because it's the first time it is on the continent.
Researchers report steady weight gain and resilience to common diseases, even under traditional feeding systems.
We need to know how the new technology introduced to Uganda, to China, the bigger goats, how can they be sustained? What are the challenges we face, and how can those three parties together can scale up the good results achieved? It's very important that these activities that are being implemented in the project are not just standalone, but are embedded in the national program and project and initiatives.
Improve goat production through crossbreeding. Local breeds such as the Mubende goat are smaller and slower growing, while the hybrids mature faster and produce higher meat yields, potentially doubling current production levels.
Because of the size and early maturing age, they are very good animals to better the multiplication and the volume, in terms of volume, the production in terms of volume in the shortest time possible. And this is very good for our local farmers whose interest is to get more production in terms of volume and facilitate the local market for the meat consumption and the export market.
Farmers are also being trained in modern feeding practices, including hay and silage making, to ensure consistent nutrition during dry seasons. As the project nears completion, focus is shifting to sustainability and scaling up. With continued support, these hybrid goats could transform Uganda's livestock sector into a more commercial and productive industry.
Now, relatedly, Uganda's livestock sector is gaining momentum with the introduction of Chinese hybrid big ear goats, a development expected to boost meat production, farmer incomes, and food security in the country.
You are forced to quarrel.
Mama kabalance. Nkuwaire 5,000 mama nkuwaire 5,000.
Ompaire 5,000.
Abantu abakulu mwatandisa obuyayi mwena.
Obuyayi obulira.
Iwe.
Ngobi yanko bantu
sente dange ninzade kolera ngobi nakolera sente dange.
Save yourself from quarreling. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo.
As we move ahead, taxi drivers and border riders in West Nile have tasked the Ministry of Works and Transport to put road signages along the roads of the sub-region. Now, many of them claim that a lack of road signs on the roads act as one of the factors making motorists ride and drive recklessly.
From Odia Nyadri in Arua district to Arua city center, one can rarely see road signs in this 5 kilometers stretch of road. During the consultative and validation engagement on fines issuance system and speed regulation with the taxi drivers and border riders in West Nile, organized by Ministry of Works and Transport, the motorists pointed out lack of road signs as a big gap leading to traffic indiscipline and accidents. Safi Alematio, a border rider in Arua city, says lack of road signs makes motorists to abscond speed regulation.
And overspeeding is not to tell that I know how to ride, no. But I also blame, because there's no road signs. When you start even from here where we are confidentially, up to Arua town, I don't know whether you will see signposts here. So that road Minister of Works will also come and put all those things to know that when you reach at a certain point, 50 kilometers, 30 kilometers, 80 kilometers, 100 kilometers.
According to West Nile Regional Traffic Officer Sam Chagwell, most of the installed road signs were vandalized by locals, adding that riders do not want to respect traffic officers on the road.
On the issue of the vandalization of the road signs, the Ministry of Works has taken over it. These accidents are actually caused by behaviors. Even after this workshop, a motorist will now be on road knowing that you don't have to misbehave on road because a traffic officer is not there. Because now we are going to a level whereby if cameras are on road, a time reaches when traffic officers are not on road.
West Nile Regional Border Riders Association Chairman Swadika Maku urges Ministry of Works to reinstall the already vandalized road signs with the aims of protecting lives through controlled speed.
To the extent it used to prevent accident, but along the way, you see people decided one by one vandalizing, cutting down the road sign. Nowadays, they are almost not there, more especially even in zebra crossing, there are no road signs. It is true. You cannot now say that because they have already vandalized it should remain. No, at least there should be a budget for those things. Once when it is cut, replace immediately.
The motorists also requested Ministry of Works to reduce the fees charged on express penalty scheme, saying the current amount is a lot.
To me, I felt that if the currency could be changed to 10, whereby someone could pay 100, it will be fair on us.
Policy and Legal Analyst Officer at the Ministry of Works, Robert Kisachie, noted that motorists who disobey traffic officers and road usage are closely monitored through traffic cameras installed.
The traffic officer has to go for lunch. The traffic officer will not be on the road when it's raining. The cameras will be there all the time. The camera captures the registration number of the vehicle. Then it integrates with the motor vehicle registration system to pick who the owner of this vehicle is. Then it issues the notice to the owner.
Data by Ministry of Works and Transport show Uganda's road safety situation worsening over the last 10 years, evidenced by increased deaths due to road crashes from 2,845 in 2014 to 5,144 in 2024. Main causes to these road crashes were careless overtaking and speeding, contributing to 44% of the crashes. Joseph Odama, UBC News.
Now over to Makerere. Ugandans have been urged to prioritize investment in health as a key driver of the country's future development. This call comes during a high-level conference at Makerere University School of Public Health.
At Makerere University, stakeholders highlighted the urgent need to strengthen Uganda's health systems amid rising cases of both communicable and non-communicable diseases. The conference emphasized that investing in health improves lives while boosting national productivity and economic growth, crucial as Uganda works towards its long-term development goals. Ramadan Gobi, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, noted that investing in health should be viewed as a strategic economic decision rather than a cost, stressing that a healthy population is essential for national development.
The government of Uganda has taken this choice to progressively increase domestic health allocations and protect them from in-year cuts and cash flow disruptions. Some of the key high-impact interventions which we are prioritizing are, number one, to functionalize health center force and strengthen primary care and community health services.
He explained that Uganda continues to face challenges such as maternal health concerns, infectious diseases, and the increasing burden of lifestyle-related illnesses, which require sustained and well-planned financing.
And around 4% of Ugandans spend more than 25% of the household consumption on health care. This is poverty generated by illness, and we must do something about it. The recurrent budget alone will not close the gap in health. We must mobilize longer-term domestic capital without adding fiscal risk to the economy.
Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, Vice-Chancellor of Makerere University, and Dr. Crispus Walter Chiyonga, Chancellor of Makerere University, emphasized the importance of research and innovation in shaping Uganda's health future. They noted that evidence-based data is critical in guiding policy decisions and resource allocations. They stressed expanding village-level healthcare to reduce distance barriers and improve health outcomes, ensuring effective and sustainable care delivery.
We have a lot of specialized programs that are helping the country to avoid taking people abroad for treatment. Our biggest dream, of course, now is to have a dedicated teaching and research hospital.
But out there in the village, the boy, the girl in a primary school wants an anti-malaria. Draw a strategy to go to the village for health care delivery. There is no other way. You can't deliver it from far.
Public service officials highlighted the need for accountability and improved service delivery, urging Ugandans to actively participate in government health programs and adopt preventive health practices.
We have seen overstretched workers and inconsistent supervision that reduce service quality. To close the gap, we must move from diagnosis to decisive action. No facility should exist without the human resources needed to make it functional.
Now, officials from the Ministry of Karamoja Affairs, IGAD, and Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Operation Wealth Creation, civil society organizations, and district technical teams are meeting in Moroto District for a consultative session to develop and implement a plan for quick wins under the 10-year Karamoja Regional Strategic Plan.
The Office of the Prime Minister, in partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Operation Wealth Creation and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, has held a 3-day consultative meeting to develop an implementation plan for selected quick wins under the 10-year Karamoja Development Plan, particularly in the areas of livelihoods, livestock, development and peace.
It's been narrowed down to focus on 2 aspects, 2 thematic areas, but which are interrelated: peace and security and livestock development.
The Programs Officer at the Ministry of Karamoja Affairs, Peter Amodoi, explains how the implementation modalities will be coordinated.
We are developing these projects with the sectors. So when we achieve, we get the funding on water, we link with the water sector as a technical entity. On livelihoods, we deal with closely with MAIF Ministry of Agriculture as a technical entity. There are roles which the local government will play. An OPM will take a central role in coordination. And IGAD comes here, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, technically because they are cross-border. There's a cross-border dimension on these issues.
The head of IGAD mission in Uganda, Jocelyn Bijirwa, says they are designing a project aligned with IGAD's 5-year strategic plan 2026-2030.
95 or 90% of this work is going to be specifically for the Karamoja region, and then the other percentage will be to address the regional aspects of cross-border trade, in terms of developing the livestock sector, but also cross-border peace and security work. But largely, much of the work that we are going to do is going to benefit the local population, and this is in line with the vision of the IGAD Executive Secretary of taking IGAD to the people.
While representing the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Waiso Bajire, at the function, the head of the Regional Peace and Security Department at the Ministry, Dr. Edith Namtebinsubuga, says the initiative is focusing on strengthening the pastoralism value chain.
Water dams, we've heard of dams being built, but somehow maybe silt blocked them. So we need to have this concerted effort to ascertain that the dams are reopened, water, the grass is watered, irrigation is done, so that the pastoralist is saved from the trouble of moving around with herds of cattle looking for pasture.
The meeting held in Moroto district was attended by officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Karamoja Affairs, Operation Wealth Creation, and districts of Napak, Moroto, Amdat, Kotido, and Nabilatuk.
Now, the State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, has ordered for the immediate arrest of a land manager in Mubende district over allegations of land grabbing, violence, and illegal evictions, as we hear more in this report.
The conflict centers on land in Block 357, Plot 4, and Block 375, Plots 2 and 3, where local families, including the late Jokana Lugalavos, claim the land was taken through questionable means. Lugalavos' family asserts that their father legally acquired a lease in 1970, expanding it to 953 acres for cattle farming before his death.
2001, and management of Obeya, they started to destroy our houses. After destroyed our properties and sold our cattle, they chased us away without compensation. The family of Obeya, they used chairman LC5, RDC, deputy RDC, and even district security committee.
The history of Obeya is known. The man was arrested for stealing government money.
Minister Mayanja, accompanied by legal assistant Lucky Betty, uncovered irregularities and forged documents used by Obeya's family to secure the land title.
It has been detected that a registration of Francis Katabara and Moses Mutaringwa was forged.
Occupied by Vivanja holders is not available to the district land board to allocate to any other person. Therefore, the allocation to Obeya was illegal.
Residents accuse Akangwanaho of destroying over 100 acres of crops, burning homes, and physically assaulting them.
Family of late Obeya destroyed all crops, all houses. We had no police officers helping. People were beaten up. People were charged so many cases, murder, aggravated robbery.
Both Akahangwanaho and Obeya's family legal representatives deny the accusations, defending their ownership.
Mister, you detected illegality in this matter. Era no guiding and even if you chapa to vehicle.
He is a trespasser. He has destroyed people's property. He has caused misery, you have heard.
Minister Mayanja directed the district police commander to arrest akahangwa naho and ordered the cancellation of the Obeya's estate land title, emphasizing that all affected residents must return to their land.
You are a suspect of causing malicious damage to property. Nolecho mwami oyo Andrew akandwa naho sebo DPC omusajja oyo mukwatirewo kakati. Was directed by the president that all those who have been prosecuting, evicting people be arrested and prosecuted in accordance with the law. That's why I directed that man Andrew be arrested. He's a trespasser.
He also plans to write to Brigadier General Henry Isoke to investigate Mubende district chairperson Michael Muhereza Ntambi for alleged involvement in land grabbing and corruption.
LC 5 Ntambi, the RDC himself had what? Has cows in this very land?
The LC 5. He has been involved in land matters, in grabbing land. He's using it. He's putting a sword on it. He's doing cows on pretending that it's Obe's land. So also he must give back the land to the Bibanja former owners.
Now, over 11 universities across Uganda that offer Kiswahili studies are set to gather at Metropolitan International University Mbarara campus for a two-day seminar starting this Saturday through Sunday.
When you don't use Momo, you get insulted by strangers. Save yourself from insults. Use the Momo app or dial *165 *3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo.
Some people think when a woman starts leading in business, the home will suffer. But many families are discovering the opposite.
Before, I worked hard in our business, but I feared making big decisions. I was worried people would say I was disrespecting my husband. Then I joined the group project, where I received training, business support, and coaching that helped me plan better, manage money wisely, and make decisions with confidence. Today, I lead with confidence in my business. I contribute more at home, support our family needs, and help reduce the burden on my husband. I'm not competing with my husband, I'm standing with him.
And our marriage has not weakened. It has grown stronger. We understand each other better, we plan better, and our family is better off because her voice counts.
When a woman is supported to lead, the family can move forward.
The GROW project is empowering women with skills, confidence, and support to make informed decisions that strengthen their families and grow their businesses. Respect her voice, support her choices. For more information, contact your district or city GROW project focal person or call 0800 307 777. The GROW project is a government initiative implemented by the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development and Private Sector Foundation Uganda with support from the World Bank.
Well, we do apologize. We missed on our investors protection story there. And of course, it was a little bit of a mishap. Now, Uganda has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening economic cooperation with Denmark. Now, at a high-level meeting held at State House, Investors Protection Unit officers emphasized Uganda's readiness to attract Danish investment, particularly in key sectors such as renewable energy, agro-processing, and manufacturing.
The meeting between senior government officials alongside private sector representatives and a delegation from the Danish embassy focused on expanding bilateral trade, boosting investment flows, and deepening industrial collaboration between the two countries. Colonel Edith Nakalema, head of the State House Investors Protection Unit, underscored the importance of collaboration between government institutions and investors in ensuring a stable and a predictable business climate as they attract long-term foreign direct investment.
Therefore, we are delighted to see that you are keen to deepen cooperation that will mutually benefit the two economies through investment and trade.
The discussions further explored the opportunities for technology transfer and skills development and aimed at supporting Uganda's long-term economic growth and industrialization agenda.
We are focused to ensuring that we mobilize all stakeholders in supporting investments, but when it comes to industrialization, we give it even much more attention because it's where we find what we need most.
Particular attention was given to government procurement processes and how they can better support international investors to strengthen business operation in Uganda.
They are keen to expand their engagement with the government of Uganda, and we are keen to support them in terms of seeking clarity of public procurement processes. It's an important priority for us, particularly in sectors such as the automobile sector, where the government is a big partner and one where we would like to work with you.
If the investors are investing in products that the government consumes, for example, motor vehicles, medicines, agricultural inputs, then they will be sure that they can benefit from the PPD guideline number 12 of supporting local content.
Investors highlighted some of the challenges faced in investing in Uganda, including high taxes that strain their businesses.
For us to promote electric mobility in this country, I know the President is passionate about local manufacturing. We can't forget that. And we will slowly get there. But we are saying in the short term, is there a way he can reconsider so that we have the 25% waived?
The government remained committed to addressing investor concerns as it works to attract more foreign investment and strengthen ties with Denmark. Abdunasele Luwama and Regan Ahumza for UBC.
Well, now as we cross over and look at what's happening with coffee security agencies and coffee processors in Mitoma and the neighboring districts have launched a joint crackdown to improve coffee quality and curb the rising theft targeting farmers. Let's hear more in this report. Well, we are bringing you that story in just a short while. That's the coffee story. But then, right now, let's look at the auditor story, where over 500 internal auditors, board members, and compliance experts are together in Kampala for the 20th annual Internal Audit Conference and the 17th Board and Audit Committee Workshop. Let's hear more in this report.
The President, Institute of Internal Auditors, Ruth Doreen Mutebe, highlighted that internal auditors play a central role in advising institutions so funds reach their intended purpose.
And the key focus areas in there is good governance and accountability. We're speaking about human capital development, we're speaking about a digital economy, and we're thinking about having a transformative economy altogether, where all Ugandans thrive. But you'll also notice that it is a season when we have so many changes happening. If you look at the global economy and the geopolitical developments that are happening, it only calls for us as a nation, it calls for us as institutions to prepare ourselves on how we are going to deal with, say, the changes in the fuel prices.
She stressed that strong audit systems are crucial as Uganda works towards becoming a modern economy by 2040.
Every other day we have internal auditors that are being certified. So as the president of the Institute, I have faith and I have hope that as the number of certified internal auditors grow, things are going to get better, even in the SMEs.
The Assistant Commissioner Internal Audit, Annette Musime, says technology is changing how auditors work.
But there might be those that do not have enough skill to undertake those reviews. So when we meet as professionals, when we meet as internal auditors, we receive that additional skill or that additional information that will help us undertake our work better.
Auditors use digital systems to monitor taxpayer compliance, safeguard revenue, and ensure public trust in government.
So this is something that we put in place to be able to help our taxpayers to be able to keep up with their transactions, to be able to promote accountability in their businesses. And indeed, the internal audit department is not staying behind as well. We've also tried to ensure that we are coming up with computerized auditing tools. We use plenty of tools. We use tools like IDEA for data analytics. We use AI. And of course, as auditors, we are very careful about the risks surrounding AI, so we are doing that very carefully.
Experts flagged gaps in training, reporting, and communication.
As an auditor, you can do so much and do so well, but the quality and the nature of the report, as he referred to corporate communication, how you present the results. Now, if you look at some of the topics that we'll be looking at, it will be, we've talked about tools, we've talked about our topics on standards, but we'll also have topics on things that affect our current members, like how to do that effective report, but also how to try and package yourself as an internal auditor.
For UBC News, I am Sudat Kaye.
Well, thank you very much there, Sudat Kaye. Now, a communique from civil society organizations on Uganda's food safety has called on every Ugandan to critically desist buying food that has been sprayed on banned agrochemicals. Government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Husbandry and Fisheries, phased out the 9 molecules and restricted about 9 molecules. Some of these chemicals have been found to be hazardous on life.
But somewhere it is called Weed Master. It is called.
Some of the banned agrochemicals have been found to be cancerous in nature. Uganda has experienced a rapid increase in pesticide use, more than doubling from 2,990 tons in 2010 to 6,010 tons in 2022, according to FAO report.
And of particular concern is that the detection of residues from highly hazardous pesticides, some of which are prohibited in their countries of origin, still really goes on. There is documented evidence. The number of journals that have documented this, and some studies have been done in the metropolitan area within Kampala that indicate that the milk and some other products, vegetables, have some residues.
International standards classify most of these registered agrochemicals as hazardous in nature. International standards classify most of these registered agrochemicals as hazardous in nature.
So the alternative approaches to pest control should be supported. And whoever funds your research actually determines what gets onto the farmers. We are here to fight a big war, not anybody in the government, ministry, or any department or agency. There is a big war. People have invested for decades and decades in the business of what? Agrochemicals. And they cannot just wish them away overnight. It is a war. That's why we are saying government, we appreciate this, but it is a tip of an iceberg of a what? Of a problem. I actually expected that number 1 on this list would have been glyphosate. But we all know who Monsanto is, much as it sold itself to Bayer.
And also ban, specifically, for example, Mancozeb. You all know that in Uganda, this is
the #1 fungicide that is used in tomatoes, that even the Ministry of Agriculture they've called it restriction, but I'm telling you, EU banned that mancozeb. It is banned elsewhere.
Ministry recently banned 18 molecules. 9 molecules were phased out completely, while 9 were restricted.
We are not being alarmist, by the way. We are just telling you facts. They are put by Ministry of Agriculture that some of these restricted and banned molecules are causing infertility in men. And then they are also causing death in some women.
Civil society organizations and food rights NGOs now want a more direct approach to prevail over the practice of agrochemicals used in Uganda's agricultural food chain sector. Crispus Arenitwe, reporting for UBC.
Are y'all ready? Uganda, the real dancehall party is on. Africa One presents Safari Beats featuring the queen of dancehall straight from Jamaica.
Big bumper girl, Spice. Stay down there, girl. Stay down there. My time to wind up. Let them know say that nobody can stop me shine up.
Spice. She's checking in to taste the Rolex, jump on a boda boda, and experience the real Uganda. Then shut it down with a massive concert at Lugogo Cricket Oval, 9th May 2026, alongside Cindy, Winnie Nwaji, and Carol Casita. Tickets are available now on Quicket, M-Ticket, *252# and FlexiPay. Powered by Nile Special.
A beer unmatched in gold.
Welcome back from that short break. Now into the world of sports. The first edition of the J&J football tournament has kicked off at Kapokine Playgrounds in Atutur, Kumi district, bringing together young talent in a week-long competition aimed at nurturing future stars.
A total of 15 teams registered for the first edition of the J&J football tournament, turning the event into a vibrant showcase of grassroots football in the Teso sub-region. Sports commentator and UBC Magic Radio manager Peter Otai used the platform to inspire young players to take sports seriously as a pathway to success.
For a very long time, Teso has actually been producing few footballers. Case in point, Emmanuel Okwi. Right now, there is a footballer who comes from here who plays for Vipers. And that is none other than Isaac Ogwang. He actually comes from Atutur. If you have actually followed my commentaries, I love to say the boy from Atutur. That is Isaac Ogwang. So he's a product from here. It's actually an honor to be here. I believe many have actually followed the commentary. Many have watched the game on TV. And many would actually love to be like us. So when they see some of us on ground, they be inspired.
The competition is being held in memory of the late Owonyo Isaiah Gray, a son of the soil in Kumi district, who was passionate about sports development.
But to bring the community together, to give so many opportunity and chances, I am truly humbled. I'm still overwhelmed because, as you can see, a lot of these young men in Atutur have a lot of talent that's been hidden. So for God to use me as a vessel to just bring so much talent out, it means a lot to me.
On the pitch, Atutur youngsters booked their place in the finals after edging Osopai FC by 1-0. In the other semi-final, Cubs FC secured a comfortable 2-0 victory over Chamdem FC to set up a final this Friday. Winners of the tournament will walk away with trophies and gold medals, as organizers continue to emphasize the importance of investing in grassroots football. The J&J football tournament not only honors a fallen sports enthusiast, but also offers a platform for young talent in Kumi district to shine and dream bigger.
I think next year is going to be hot because this is the beginning. So I call upon all the government's people, please let's put hands together to help the younger ones. because you see this generation needs your hands.
Ngabo Amon reporting for UBS TV in Atutul Sub-County, Kwame District.
Well, thank you so much for allowing us into your space. Once again, my name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango, and from the entire news team, it's a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.